Everybody really needs to get balanced with their line settings. You have to really understand how this all works, information to its set location to its system. I'm going through lines all over my computer. I'm just touching my finger lines, very light line communication. It's changing everything. It's going through different programs, different target line settings, different website position track lines. You've got to get balanced with these things. Okay, because it's about understanding what nature is and what it does to your set location system, how everything is done by itself. Okay, the higher the frequency, the more things change. Things start moving on its own, levitating in position track lines and set position location to a system, right? The correlations of panels and direct location system. I sent you guys a very powerful TikTok video about a couple where a woman is walking in the conditions of nature, which is wonders in communication, and sees this leaf traveling, right? You explained to me how a leaf, a singularity leaf, is traveling. And then she goes and touches it, it falls to the ground, and it finds its way back in position to its location. That's nature's wonders. You can't explain it, it's a phenomenon, right? That's what we're coming into. Okay? So everything is connected through its own self-propelling engine. It has a recognition time sequence. It has a correlation panel that directs signals to travel communication to its operations surface. It's very powerful what we see these things and we understand what it is. And people come to that set location. What's this all about? Why am I seeing this? What does this mean? Well, it all has to do with you because you're seeing it in direct signal, a set location. Okay? When you see it in direct signals like being in a trance, so it's like, whoa, okay, I'm directing line signals, panel communication to sleep now. Leaf is over here, here, triangulation of three lines, the laser line direct location. There's the probes, there's the orbs, there's next D1000. Okay? So getting into that modification is seeing yourself as an inner child. Playing mechanisms set location your settings is all about understanding how to set the high center position of track lines into bio-traction, bio-infusion, bio-connections, biokinetics, and schematics over pi, directing panels and high operation stream location to a setting. Okay? Now the team has to really get into that line setting now because your holographic system is coming into reconstruction. Redesigning your panels and high center interference, and that's why school now is more crucial because I show you how to go through the line of travel, especially when you're recharging and in set locations of sleeping. You're not sleeping, never sleeping. Eyes are open, mind's always open. More than you could ever imagine. And that imagination comes at all set location line settings. And then you keep asking yourself, well, if one leaf is rotating, does that mean all leaves are going to rotate? Yep. Because we're coming in a different line setting. Everything that you see has its own mechanism of travel, has its own telepathy, has its own signature, has its own sound, has its own senses. And when you see these things, you're meant to see these things for you to understand what it is through its own intelligence. Okay? So that's what this is all about. When you want to know why a leaf is floating and positioned and levitating and moving like this, a leaf out of nowhere, flying. Come on, guys. What kind of reality do you think we're living here? So knowing exactly what you see in provisional location, what is real and what is fake, because it comes in all calculation line settings of edit and post-production. Now, in that track communication settings, you have to really understand how this all works through provision. Okay? All right, so if everybody's doing well, space rising, line calculation setting, space academies are growing now. We got 22 dorm line streamlines that set position attractions, so that's fantastic. So in position locations, we come in at all signature stream locations. Now, indirect signal, we all have to understand how to get into our holographic line settings, okay, in track communications. Because the thing is, you have the three-dimensional door lines, and the center position location of its operation location surface is all about understand how to use it through track communication settings through pi, direct signal location to the clock line setting, position location operation. Now, it's going to get more complicated. You go higher, I go higher, but I'm already there, but I'm coming back to you. So the coming back to you is the process of you set locations, why it's crucial to go to school now, because you're at that frequency now. And set locations. So the higher you go, the more everything moves on its own. That's that position. Because remember, it's directing line calculations said nature does everything on its own. Trees do everything on its own. And that's what you're coming into. The brain convergent lines of its interface puts everything in position of track, location, of balance. And how you see yourself is all kept in the high center to your perceivals of its cortex, of its design, of its holographic line set locations, and how to travel through light, through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, through graph location of streams. You set your lines in communication setting, direct set location to its operation. Okay, so track communication of L-line set locations into box line rotations to a triangulation reset location of 3 settings. Whoa. L-line shape, box line triangulation. Now, triangulation to reset, 3-point systems, 4-point systems, and 3-point systems. Okay, now, to understand, are they separated or are they together? They're together because they're information on line settings. So, indicate line interference is location of travel lines at 3 set locations. Okay, so in that position of track lines, 4 line division location is line connections of high positions of 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 equal to lines of 3 over pi in direct signal and position location attraction. Okay, 4 equals 3 over pi, right? So in that position, if there's an off signal, let's say 4 is here and it's floating. 4 is here, right? It's offsetting. It's an emotional track line. That's where you bring in the moon. You only bring in the moon if you have to fix the 4. So it's an indicates line interference. Oh, number 4 is hurt. It's line position offsetting, right? So the moon comes in, fix the emotional line centers, bring in the light track communication to the sun, but only bring in the moon if the off position location of perception is an anxiety, stress, or the line position to its operation surface. That's the only time you bring in the moon. Okay? In that position of track lines, you're always bringing in the sun and the moon to protect location of your geometric location of design of that position, keeping the vibration and frequencies high in position location of track. 3 thought perceptions. Okay? All right, so bring in the moon, bring in the sun in rotation surface, bring it back the 4 line streamlines back in calculation. So the 4 signatures comes back here. There it is. The moon brought it back through motion. Multi-pass. Okay. So I'm just showing you how you have to set line communication algorithm, line settings, stream location of settings, direct position location versus surface. Triangulation resets, position of 0 lines of 1. Let's get a decimal point. There's a decimal point. Now, 1 signature line. If there's another decimal point in position location, let's say it wants to go forward. Okay, so that overrides the decimal. That puts it into the past. Okay, so basically we have an operation of a 0 line in set location to a decimal point that overrides the system location of overdrive, right? So that takes over the set position of this decimal, puts it in the past. Okay, isn't that powerful stuff? All through operation. So get in that signature lines, go way beyond line center, high position location track lines, and get into the interface line system location to each letter, number, and shape. That's the only way you're going to understand anything through holographic structure, location of design that sets position locations to your engineering skills in the line position of operation. Okay? But it's very powerful when you bring in a decimal. If it's in the center of 1 decimal, that's fine. But if you bring in another decimal, you can put it in the past or you can put it in the future. If you put it in the future, it overdrives the decimal that's in position. Okay? So it's kind of like, oh, you're out of order, or basically you're overriding somebody, or calculation to a setting to all track location of running programs at position to execution location initiation. See, it gets complicated. See, I'm complicating situations now because you're reaching higher levels of frequencies. So you have to understand how to use the 144 ground lines, equal line calculation setting, and position of 0, 0, 0, and 4 line position locations into 1, 1, 1 in position locations and 1, 4 setting. Okay. So how did I do this in an equation? Well, 1, 4, 4. Okay. And that calculates the lines. That's a Z line. Okay. Z line, XT 1000 line, XT. Once you bring in an XT 1000, it gets really, really powerful stuff. XT 1000 is on a waving line setting and position location as Z line and rotation surface in a 4 line track, location of 0 position location setting, position location of 1 line, 1 position, 1 activation, and 4 settings. Okay. So the signature pattern line position locations is 1, 1, 1, 4 indication, right? 1, 4, 4 equals 1, 1. 1, 4. So that's 3 indications: travel lines, gravitational pull, right? Brings position location. It's indicate high interference. We check position locations. Now, if it's a 4-line string, you can bring it underscore. But you got to understand, the underscore is under, not over. Over is pi. That's future. Underscore is balanced position of past. Underscore back. Okay, over pi. Okay, so try to understand how that works through an S-line setting. Line position location of 144 equals lines of 111. 3-line signatures of 4 set position of patterns and set position of track lines into calculation line interference. Indirect location, you bring the sun, you bring the moon, operation surface, and protect it through its application. Okay. So, yeah, that's all it is. It's very powerful when you guys come into that line set location setting. Okay. Okay. You're out of order, right? So you're taking over authority over a decimal point. That's 1 decimal point. So if a decimal point's here and it wants to go here, this overrides the decimal right here, overrides, overdrives. Okay, because now it's in front. So in that position location, that's decimal. So in that position location, let's say you go through 1 line setting. Okay, to understand the location, you have 1, right? Now you get a decimal point here, set positions, right? And they get another decimal point here in position location. This balanced lines its equal location setting, which is a triangulation of 3 set location. Okay, because it's decimal in front, 1 here, 1 here. Okay, communications balance. That's balance. So that's indicators of 2 positives, and 1 line setting is a negative, and 1 line setting is negative. Negative and 2 positives. Overrides, overdrives the set location setting directions. Okay. So, all right. So it's getting more fun now because you're going to learn how to use the frequencies. So how you go through frequency of the cortex, line conditions, cerebral, you have to understand the correlation, ascending direct location, hologram line set locations where the avatar and the sim has to really travel through light communication, all through calculation. All right. So what it is, you got a line signature stream. Here's the avatar going through center, right? But it's got modification line streams and direct signals. Okay, panel communication of 0 lines of 1, 0 lines of 0, 1, line 0, 0. Position locations, let's add a 6, let's add a 7, let's add a decimal point, let's add a question mark, let's add a box, let's add a triangulation, let's add a spherical sphere line rotation, triangulation line interference into a Fibonacci line swirl. Algorithm. Okay, going very, very fast. Right? So to catch the numbers, letters, shapes, and symbols, you slow down your space, and then they slow down, right? But you have 60 seconds and 1 perimeter line stream. Now that 60 seconds puts an allocated line stream in set locations. So indicate line interference. Let's say you go through 0 line rotations into 1 line, so box line rotations into triangulation set location. That's a 4 inventory stream. Directing the lines of 1 panel position traction. Okay, taking out of the equation. Now, the central communication lines has electron line in position to its operation data. Data positions as track lines of communications, how you indicate lines of 0, 0, 0, and 1 location system. Drive position location lines, setting all calculated modify. This is how you graph line calculations, hologram line, center interference, and track communication setting, direct signal to operation. Okay. Signifies coefficient data streams in position of panels. Okay. So it's very complicated, but it's a lot of fun. But that's what you guys are coming into. This is the frequency you guys are at. Okay. And this is extremely, extremely powerful stuff. So when you're slowing down your space, you're seeing the 6 coming into 7, and then you see the 7 coming into the 8. There's 6, 7, and 8 here. 6, 7, and 8. So when you slow it down, you bring out the 8 because that's what you want. So that's 8 position locations. That's 8 over 8, 8 position, 8 line setting. Puts position location of track lines and triangulation. Okay. Setting direct signals to an S line rotation into a half pipe, bring in the sun, bring in the moon, protect the set location to its setting and operation. Okay. So you're formulating lines of triangulation line systems in position location to a hologram stream. That's how it creates line kind of high center appearance of plasma bubbles or anything the holographic line position of rainbow set location you're setting. You don't have to use all foundations of 12. You can just use 2 panels of 8 line set location track lines. That creates line settings, but you have to bring the sun and the moon. And if you have problems with the number line sequence, bring in the moon and then the sun, because the moon fixes the emotional line track to the number, letter, shape, and position to its provision that activates its stream location setting to its algorithm that sets the proxy channel communication lacing lines and set location position to its high position travel lines, and its indicate high interference of its keyframe location and block line system location of blocking. Okay? So, yeah, save all the questions for after, okay? But I'm just showing you exactly. You have to set up triangulations inside to create the hologram. Okay, so when you're finished the drawing line settings, the sun and the moon comes in and protects the system. So in that set locations, you have an alpha line tone and position equal line calculation and delta, position location line connection to theta, sets direct location setting. So you have theta line and rotation setting, brings in the box line rotations, brings another box line connections of eight position locations. That indicates high position of 2 panels, line set location of 2 line settings, 2 positions to its operation. That's how you bring a box line center inside the energetic bubble and set location to its holographic line position to its setting through a dome. Okay, through alpha, delta, and theta. Okay, so the signature streamline and direct signals is really understand how to get position location, your alpha lines, your delta tones, your theta lines, which is your imagination. Start with the imagination, then you get into phenomena, okay, and perception location. Okay, then perception equals lines of pi. Okay, correlates programs equal lines of pi, intelligent lines of pi, and telewave and communications of pi, indirect signal. Okay, so we all have to understand how to indicate the set location of settings. Now, this is extremely complicated because now you're coming into pi at direct location, you're 144. Okay, so you got 144 ground settings, 144 platforms, 140 line set location of set interference, and 144 information, and 144 clocking lines of center operation. This is just operation of grounds, guys. So you need numbers. You need everything in center to create the hologram. Okay. So it's in direct signal through the triangulation of 3 lines of V line, direct locations to a flux capacitor, triangulation of 3 set locations at 2 4-line settings. So 2 4-line settings at 2 strip locations. All right. So 2 lines of 2 lines in position of 4. Direct line set location of 6, and position of 8, and 9 line conditions of 10. The line conditions across is 11, equal lines of pi. Direct lines of triangulation and position of box and center position operation at center location. Okay? So it's knowing exactly that your avatar and your sim is putting everything in chronological order. Okay? So this is where we come into box line centers. And that's what I was doing with the principal Lyris. Connection height system of 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay? Yeah, it's huge downloads for location setting, guys. So in that position locations, you really understand that you're indicating. Remember, it's the indication of what you're doing through volume and value. You put your positions to your thoughts of influence that puts position of track lines in your placebo, which is correlated high interference of your cortex design in a holographic line calculation setting. So you put in your letters, numbers, shapes in the center of its operation of pi. And you bring in the sun and you bring in the moon through triangulation. That's how it becomes a hologram. But in position, you have to keep the frequencies high. Keep the frequencies high. Okay? Because if they go down line, grid lines, low graph line, stream location system, if you go into beta, say you're in alpha, and then you're a delta, and then you're in beta, this dome line center disappears in position of track communication. Okay? So you have to recreate everything all over again in structure. That's why you have to understand these things. So your foundation graph line is a 144 clock lines in 1,000 line units in line connectionized system. That's 144,000 frames per second. 144,000 frames per second equals seconds on channel. Channel operation of streamlines, a box line, triangulation set lines, and high interference of another box location setting, 3 atom line rotation surface, and a box triangulation is a box location. Okay? So, but I'm just showing you how this all works. Reality, yeah. So basically, Your connections to your higher self is just understand the program, just trying to understand the value, trying to understand the volume, trying to understand the acceleration, trying to understand the deceleration, trying to understand the merge, the correlation of the panels, direct signal, your position, your CPU. It all tracks its communication setting directions. Okay. So remember, I reach all your frequencies where you are. So don't worry about that. Okay, so you don't want to be in beta line settings and track communication line calculation alpha lines or any of the position triangulation resets, alpha line position location of mega line rotation, track lines high interference, half pipe position location of two panels, direct lines of box line and position of theta line rotation of two box location of centers. Okay, so we all have to, I want you guys to get into the process to really understand the perceptions of letters, numbers, and shapes, how they come to you. They work for you. They are you. So they become alliance equals lines of intelligence, equal line calculation settings of GOD working for you. Okay, through GOD. All right. Directing signals of panel communication line setting is really understand how to put yourself in a higher calculation location of a holographic set. Triangulation lines of three, direct line centers of three panels, and direct signal. Okay. So in sectors, equal lines of one vector, one equals lines of vector crosses stream location of volume, line condition of velocity, equal lines of pi, and set location of travel. Okay. Now, very high rise, this is 144, but this is in the atmosphere. You guys are in zero of ground level, equal lines of hologram set. That's where you guys are. Okay. We got to come here. So in direct signal, so much acceleration. Yeah. Use the schematics videos today told me it can't be done or command. I had to reset and delete its prompt settings of can. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, Laura. But Laura, you really understand your information line settings. So it's all about locations. Once you're finished, you're realigning your correlations. You bring in your sun, you bring in your moon, and you protect your location to your system. Okay, so you're always creating a hologram through its formula of its equation. It's always inside. So when it gets in that provision location, you cross the signals and it disappears, but it's still there. It's that position location to its dome. That's that position of traction, right? Crossing line settings comes a dome and set location of system. Okay, but the numbers are still there. So once you complete the line setting, the sun and the moon disappears the numbers. It comes cloak and dagger. That's the indicate line rotation to its cloud and high position of track lines in rotation surface in a triangulation line positions and two lines of vectors and three cross signals and four set location. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just really understand how it all works, right? So that's what you need to understand is to have a relationship with each lines of one. If you get a one indicator line string, right? So one equals lines of value, lines of location of volume, equal lines of velocity, positions of pi, direct and line calculations, dimensional doors of pi, three set location settings, and direct signal, position location of four set location. Okay. So this is going to help you understand more levels of your universe. Now, these are three indicators of four settings, right? 3 equals indicator. Okay. Set locations and setting, dome set. Dome set. Sets position of track lines, comes into its dome set position of travel. Directing line position location, high setting crosses signals, high position locations in the system. Okay. Now, truly understand how to use the equation line streams. Now, equation line, bring the equation location system, E equals lines at allocate line setting. Now, you don't have to say allocated, you just set A. If you're in a line rotation, make sure you have a capital line rotation of a font. A line setting. This is two different line communications. This is different from that. Okay, so you can't use this through this. It's got to be through that because this is a formation of an in font. So that's a font and set location line setting directions, right? Now, in position of track lines, the alphabetical line stream in a line rotation is to truly understand how to use the equation lines of equal line communication to its A-line system. Traffic calculation line and inference of three set locations, right? 6, 9, 12, boom. Location grid through an A-line center, right? You can do the same thing, but it's a lower line stream location, so it's indication of three sets. Location grid center, location ground center. Okay. So it's important to understand that. You guys have to understand how to use position locations of A and position locations of B, okay, and position locations of C, okay? Everything has a different line position locations, guys, through frequencies, all right? So let's say we get an alpha line stream, line calculations of box and triangulation line interference of the delta wave communication setting into all levels of every earth line rotation to a center position location to a setting of its water containment. Okay, it's really understand how to communicate to all levels of measure. Okay, how you get into your alphabetical set locations through your fonts. Okay, capitals and line set location or anything in that rotation surface. It blows my mind how my schematics of travels today's. Yeah, that's all it is. Location of dome settings there. All right, so we all have to understand how this all works. Now the triangulation and ring line settings. Good, you guys put line signature to 3 positions of patterns, 3 pattern line interference, 700,000 line stream, direct line position of pass line, change position of dimensional door line, stream locations, center correlation setting to ground lines and high position location of box line, triangulation reset, 2 panels correlation high position, back and pass line stream locations going forward lines, 12 set line conditions, bringing the sun, bringing the moon line position traction. Okay, done my equation. All right. So now you guys are in the past as 700,000 line centers and set locations. 7-point lines, 3 bracket location settings, hanger line rotation, center interference, indicate high position of energy, positions all levels of plasma and line calculation setting in a pass line setting, pi direction of time sequence and location of force lines and correlation setting direction and side positions of 2-track communications. Okay. So getting in the pass line setting is really understand how it surfaces you. It's really start recognizing, wow, I'm understanding the high position location of L. What is L? What does that mean? Well, it's not an L, it's an angle, right? So you use the influence of the intention of what you want it to be. Understanding the L, understanding the L. Understanding the R, understanding the R. Understanding the S, understanding the S. You understand that? You have to understand the fonts. Okay. So in that relation line interference, you become relationship and friendships. Friendship, relationship, partnership. Partnership is the biggest thing because you're adding equation lines of interface. You're interlocking its dimension communication setting to all levels of alphabetical line communication, your system, and track communications. You have to really understand how this all works in your line calculation setting to your keyboards, right? So you have to have muscle memory of set locations, okay, of your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Fibonacci line swirls, directing line set line condition settings. This 3 pi position indicating high position location of value. Okay, value, V. Okay. You understand location of the system, location of how it works, and all line center interference of your system? Value. How much do you value yourself? Now that's an indicator line interference of a box line rotation or a diamond setting. So it's all calculated and modified when you get into 3 line signatures, 3 positional programs, and 3 line conditions of 1 panel to 2 panel line rotation surface. Direct line calculation setting. When you're in finished line rotation, you bring the sun, you bring the moon, correlates the system position of protection. Okay? So you understand how this becomes a hologram? Signatures lines of 3, Fibonacci line swirls, directing signal position location operation line surface, directing position location center of operation setting locations. Okay? All right. Mind blown. So this is all indicated. Indication is everything to a holographic set locations. You have to understand how to scale the settings. You have a scale. What is a scale? Well, it's balance position your location settings and measure. Okay? A scale balances you out. Okay? Too many alpha line rotations, too many track lines of beta, too many monotone line interference, tone interline rotations, torical field lines, not in calculation streamlines, direction of timelines of box lines, triangulation of Fibonacci line interference, swivel communication of triangulation resets, position location line interference, of box location setting, indicate line center 0001 track location. Now you have no idea what I just did, but this is all levels of a graph in position 2 is sim. Okay, everything is in a box frame, guys. Everything. So we all have to understand how to really get into its program setting location to letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. If you get an R-line rotation, right? That's an indication to one line signal, okay? Equal lines of font and position locations in pattern, directing line calculations of box, line calculation triangulation, three sets line calculation setting and position location of 6/7, seven loans of 8, eight line track lines of 9, energy wash stream location setting and direct signal to modification system to a dimensional sail, a calculation stream location of setting position to its operation. Okay? Everything is created in a hologram, but you have to understand the structure of design. Everything is in a box frame. Okay? So when you are in structure and when you bring the sun and the moon, the box frame, the numbers disappear. And all you're looking at is a dome and set position to its location of what you created, what you created, what you created. Okay? That's all it is. It disappears. That's why you have the sun and the moon, and you got the sun position locations, all levels, and position line conditions of its motion location setting. Okay, only bring in the moon if it's offline condition motion. If the E line center is not in traction, let's say the E is here, falling through signal. There's the E falling. Get into relationship, has emotional setting. Use the senses. E is not an E. It's a relation. It's you. You are traveling E. You are the E. You are the alphabetical setting. You are the numbers, letters, and shapes and symbols. You use it as perception. Okay? So E is falling out. Moon comes in, right? Tracks, communication, fixed lines of E, back in the equation. There it is. E equals E. Back in balance. Now, sun is over here waiting on signal. Waiting on signal is above. Okay? Equal line calculation, line center interference, overdrive, set of locations of pi, center calculation, stream location. Now, we have to understand how to do this because that's where you're reconstructing your set location, your design line system. Holographic line setting, in-line rotations, and position location, your system. Okay, equal line calculation settings of box line rotations, frame position location, triangulation line centers, three position locations of 6 crosses line stream, 6 lines in interference, and 6 position of programs, and 2 panels of operation. So everything I'm doing is putting you in position locations what you already know. Okay, how to use your algorithm line settings. So it's like this. So it's rain grass, rain grass, rain grass, rain grass. And there's numbers in between, 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 numbers in between. So when it's going so fast, you slow down your space. Then the EK line interference. Okay, I want to use the 0 line and take that out. Okay, 0 correlates to set. 0 equal lines. You have to set the formula equation. 2 panels, position and set location, film strip line calculate setting. Position of track lines brings the pi position of travel lines and location of your settings into your pyramid line rotation. Now it allocates the line center interference. Strips position location of 2 panels, 3 panels, 4 panels, 5 panels, 6 panels, and 7 and 8 and 9 set location of setting. Right? But it's always in a box frame. Okay? So Delphi relays, interception to shape shifts, any negative interference to dome settings to sonar, auto reset, plasma settings to Orion's belt. Look at that. Look how what's going on with Principal Lyra. But I'm just showing you how it comes in a rainbow graph stream locations. Slowing down your space, you're able to see what you're doing in inventory. You start with your 12 signature ground lines in position 144, right? Then you go into 244, 344, and up and up and up and up and up. But your foundation is now 144 in position location, right? And that's how it comes into brain interface line setting to your main of your capacity line setting of time streams, time locks, time clock calculations, and time clock plane centers. Travel in position location is understanding how to keep it in balance as a location your scales. Now coming in position location at track line is understanding how to use the matrix stream location in your settings in its holographic light set stream location. Okay, very complicated stuff. But it's all about understanding how to use the algorithm location of settings, okay, through numbers. Okay. All right. So we having fun yet? You understand a little bit more how this all works? Where basically you're looking at two. One's over here on signal. 3 is over here in Fibonacci. 4 is over here riding cycles. 5 is here in detection. 6 is in throw pattern line rotation. 7 is in theta communication. 8 is infinity line stream. 9 is in line and energy wash. 10 is in rotation set location to its hot position of family. 11 is in signal. And 12 is position location of grounds. All through 12 signature stream locations. Okay? You've got to get in relationship with letters, numbers, shapes, symbols, guys. Keep them as lines and interference. Become your friends. Their relations to your system, because you have to understand you are the numbers. So if I'm the number, that means my body of consciousness has to be the number. I have to feel like I'm 1. Right? 2. Right? In position location 3. In position of the 4. In position of the 5. Okay? So that's you got to understand the balance, how it works through the frame lines. You have 12 signature locations, all the line sets. Okay? Yeah, it's powerful stuff, isn't it, Jets? Okay, so you guys have to come into your own engineer skills, understand how to get in partnership with this. More than ever. I can't stress that enough, okay? Because you have to really understand that you're not using math, you're using maps of equation. You can't travel through a signature lines of 1 + 1 = 2 until you understand 1 + 1 = 3. Okay? So 3 line signatures, sets position locations, falling out in position location. Okay? So you have to get in relationships with 3. 3 wants to travel communication line settings, but 1 is off calculation line interference. 2 is not rotated interference. Put it back in balance, put it in position locations. There's the indicator line interference, so 3 track communication. There's the hologram. Okay? Get into the inner line settings of the inner child position location system, because you're working with children. These are lines of children line interference and track communication inside of you. How to work with the location system. Everything is indicated location of sound barrier, line position location system. All foundation graph lines have position location of voice tone all through audio line connection. You have to learn how to use it. So once you understand the recognition lines of voice lines and your ring and ears, you understand anything through sonar comes in, it's in the right line signal, which is the earth line. If it's in the left line, it's space line. If it's together, line it positions your planets. So that's all calculated modified. All right. So that's what it is. It's just plain mechanisms, right? Calculation when it came into Peter Pan and line certifications and Rufio, right? Play! Whoa, right? Okay, I'm going to talk to your mother, right? And I say, whoa, okay, where's the inner child? Where's the happy essence of self, right? So he had to figure that out for himself. One happy thought levitates position location. So I just wanted to show you how this all works in provision. They're little children, okay, working for you through an alliance. It's like crystals. They're soldiers. They're in your command. Because if they're not in your command, they're running around all over the place. Right? They'll all be all over the place inside your body. Right? Get back here. Right? They have everything that you have because they're all levels of you inside. You got to balance these things out. It's very powerful when you come into your own perceptual locations in line calculation setting. The most powerful thing is your direct signal is all calculated, modify how you see yourself in your dualities of your dichotomies. Really understand the energy line communication setting. If you're looking at 1 in position of 2 lines, masculine and feminine in position location attraction. 1 has male and female. If you want the 1, it can have a female male in set locations, in track communications. That's male of box and female of triangulation. It's simple. But you understand they have personalities of you because it is you. Okay? These are the perceptions that you have to get in connections of sync of. Really understand the line position through settings. Okay? One has an inner line rotations to all levels of ground line. Now, the rotation surface of the crop circle doesn't have position of track communication to a system. So use all calculations of frames of a story. Use it as a film. Use it as your set location, how you would create your thoughts. Okay, so you got a zero gravity lines and a line position of one gravity line rotations and one line rotation signal and set location lines that's standing on point view. 2 positions, 3 positions, there's electrical fence. Simple, right? Let's add a T-line center, T-line center, T-line center. Okay, let's open up box line rotation. Whoa, let's add an indicated lines of one line rotation. Whoa! Let's add a Fibonacci line swirl, direct lines that correlation to 3 set position of panels in traffic communication. Whoa! Let's add position locations in funnels and communication lines setting direct signal location to capsules. Whoa! Let's add a line rotation to the pattern position location high center interference across the signal position of patterns. Whoa! Right? Everything's a hologram. Everything's a hologram. Okay? So you create it. Everything has to travel. You travel, it travels. No signature lines of anything, letters, numbers, and shapes is going to be dormant and sit on your shelf and rust. Everything is moving in position location. Everything's moving very fast. Finger communication line interference of triangle calculated high position location line, all levels of general communication line is back in track communication setting. Confirm position location traction. Out by equation. That's communication. All with 5 signature lines and high setting. Multi-pass, right? Have the conversation line setting. Get into the partnership with your system. So that's what you're working with. Remember I was telling you about your cells that indicate the line set location of voice line? Everything has a sound line setting. You have to recognize all communication interference. Fibonacci line swirl. Whoa, look at that. Here's a box line, triangulation at a 4 set position of point system. Ooh, use all your senses. Okay? It's silly, but it's fantastic because you let yourself free. Your mind is free. Your collaborations are free. Your center communication is free. Your center body operation line connection all over your chakra communication line interference position location is free in all line connections of space and time. Have fun with it. Get into your voice lines. Get in that position location line center. 1 signature is a string. 2 lines set location line interference. Signatures and high position location of box line. Position of track communication. 2-dimensional lines. 3-dimensional lines. Calculation of triangulation of 3 set. All done by equation. So, yes, this is all basic. So everything that you do is the ground lines of 144,000 lines per frame. Okay? So you really, really have to pay attention to your settings of your tone, right? And be cautious in what you say through your thought recognition and time sequence because your brain interface is changing track line communication at seconds and minutes and hour line rotation to send position location operation, right? So your brain is a convergent location of a triangulation of all calculations of a command center. It's the mainframe position track line that puts the hardware and software together and creates the image of its rotation surface that puts in a triangulation reset position location of its image in its structural location of its brain into a story like high center interference of your universal location system of abundance location and manifestation. Okay? Seconds on channel. Second lines that have calculation end line settings. Okay, so you got an end line set rotation. Levels and correlation setting of 0 line position location of sun and the moon. Boom, done. That's it. It's all done, right? Triangulation lines sets position location XC1000 comes in, scans position locations, opens another triangle position operation. Okay. So just have fun with it. Just, get into, Fiddle daddle line rotation line settings, like one signature stream, two signature panels, box line rotations, three lines of sets, and four set location of setting. Okay? Remember I said location of 3 and 4? How 34 becomes a box line rotation and triangulation sets? That's 1, 2, 3, right? Indicates position of 3, right? 4 line signature is 4 box locations, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 panels communication, pass line settings, and direct signal high calculation. Hologram. Okay? So you have to have fun with it. Fun, fun, fun. Play, play, play with your thoughts. Now, when you play with your thoughts, you're playing with your letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. Now you can have any location of decimal point. I want to do this now. I don't want to go later. Travel communications, one line signature. So you got one decimal that's bored, and it wants to jump over the one. But the ground lines of the one travels out position location of line centers of 2 panels of position. Try to use it as a formation of projection. And when you use it through projection, you have fun with it through the inner child. Everything I do is inner child of everything. I'm never out of the mind. I'm always in. And when I'm always in, I'm always evolving. And when I'm evolving, I'm always in calculation. And when I'm in calculation, I'm always in balance because I calculate and modify how I see myself through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols because I become that through perception. That's the balance of the masculine and feminine and its application to your settings. And that's how it processes it through yin and yang, all through application. Okay? So use it as a frame. Use it as a story of frame. Okay, use it as a soliloquy, right? One signature line interference will travel through one line rotations of 2 panels. The operation line calculation setting was setting up 6 position location of moons and track communication line setting that was opening all track communication of the sun and position operation. Boom. All signature string lines and sublocations. All energy line settings and high position operation. Zero gravity line interference decided to take a walk and line interference of 2 panels of position location setting, directing line position location of levels at 3 set locations. See? A story, a frame, a paragraph. All right. Signature streamlining and line rotations of box line rotations serve as a triangulation reset, position location of Merkaba, line calculations, center lines, equalize calculation, high interference, and test right communication. Boom. See? Simulation is a computer. We already know that. But it's understanding yourself inside the computer. So if you understand the computer, you are the computer of technology. Okay? You are in control of the keypads and the key line settings inside location in your mind that adapts the location system to the inner line rotation, the center operation of the magnetic highway information line settings. You bring the sun in position location to its operation surface. Okay? So, and the thing is, too, you can bring the sun here, 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 in 4 box locations. Right? Now, the moon in set line conditionized system is in the center positions of 2 calculation streams. Now, the reason why it's in center line position location because it's indicating line setting location of measure. Correlates center lines and T lines, high position of flux capacity communication setting directions. Opens all signals and panel correlation settings of balance. Correlate high interference of yin and yang as 6 and 9 in process. Okay? So we all understand where the moon is set. The moon is always in the center line. So if you want to bring in the sun, you have to interline the calculations to its influence. Sun communication line interference, bringing the moon line interference position attraction. 3 line sets. Down position location. One finger line interference is off calculation, high position location, bringing back in the sun, position location, the moon line interference location attraction. 2 line center. Rotation, circulation. Done by equation. Right? So, yes, it's powerful and beyond anything you can imagine. Anything you can imagine. Stop saying like Formula One. I don't even know how to do anything out of the equation because it's all set for me, which is already done. So everything I'm giving to you is already done. It's already been said. So if you understand that line conditions, all levels of your computer is all tracked to its communications. So everything that you say has already been said. And that's what you're coming back into is your memory as locations. And once you have fun with that, with the letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols, they not only become your friends, but they become your command centers at set location as it travels through navigations of the mind of navigation to surroundings. Right? So if you get 1 panels, 2 positions, 3 lines, and 4 lines, and 5 lines, and 6 and 7 lines of 8. But these are all ones. But that's not what I said. See? That's manipulation. To you, it looks like all ones, but it's not. 1 lines of 2, 2 lines of 3, 3 lines of 4, 4 lines of 5, 5 lines of 6, 6 lines of 7, 7 lines of 8. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But to you, it looks like ones. You see how that works? So that indicates the 1 turns into 2, and that turns lines of 3, that turns into 4, 3 lines of 5, 5 lines of 6, turns into a box, box lines of triangulation, turns into 6, back into the moon, back into the sun, back in rotation center, 3 location of settings and direction. So, the inner child is the most powerful thing to have because there's no thinking line setting or anything through stream locations. 1 indicating line position of 1 setting. 1 indicating a line at 1 setting. But it looks like what? What could it be in anything position? What can it be? What it wants to be? What does it want to be? Because it's you. It's you communicating with you. So that's the location. Higher cell line calculation, center line, and avatar line location levels. Bring the highest line position back in the earth line rotation surface. 3 set location line, center location, 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, line rotation surface. Done. Right? So when you put these together, everything comes into circulation rotation. They work for you. Triangulation line set. Okay. Colossal communication. You have to use your voice. Okay? You don't just write things down and go. Yeah, voice, use it. Use a voice. Use all your senses. Taste it, feel it, touch it, know it, see it, be it. I am it. Okay? Have fun with it. Fun, fun, fun. F-U-N. Fun. Have fun. Right? So you can do anything with that set locations. You can turn anything and anything that you want because you're using your influence to intention. If I want a 1-line signal in position of a box, 1 turned into a box because 1 equals lines of God and set locations. 1 turns into anything. So if 1 turns into anything, you turn it into everything. You become the box because your body is already consciousness. Megapass. You're invisible now. So if you're invisible, you can change into anything. You can go through triangulation, go through 1-line centers in position of 1 system. So I wanted to show you what it is in position. Let's say you go in a box line and cubical line interference, position of track communication with setting, direct system, position operation. Okay. So we got a 1 signature, right? Watch this. You in center. There's the 1. Okay. There's the back door that it created. Okay. So went here and went here. See? Imagination. All through 1. Right? So more you have fun, and stop looking at things as, okay, this is just a square. This is just a star. This is a 2. This is a 3. This is percentage. And this is a question mark. Okay? So you have to become these things to understand these things. You are these things of space and time through pi. Okay? So use all your senses. You got 8 of them. Use them. Use them to that benefit. That's how you get abundance in manifestation. F is for family, who fixes timelines together. U is for you, me, 1, no separation up here in Space Academy. Well, there you go. See? You reiterate your words in position negative. Negative is not negative unless you want it to be negative because you're changing the influence, which is changing the brain frequency. You change the brain frequency. Beta. You neutralize the correlation setting to the cortex line calculation, the brain, and line interference and trackification system. Air, 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 air. Okay? So, you really have to get into that now. Okay? The more you draw a position location to an inner child aligned settings, you understand the locations of 4 set locations: baby, child, teenager, adult. Okay? Because that's what it is. Baby child lines and line interference of child communication of box lines of triangulation, line interference, triangulation, business of box, leading line signature locations. 6 is over line, position 6 is traveling over here, 6 is over line rotation, 6 is position track communication. Let's bring in the moon, line rotation, because the 6 doesn't stand set position location, line interference. Bring in the percentage over pi, position location, track lines, box and line rotation interference, back in triangulation, back in 3, back in 6, back in balance, position and traction. Make it pass. Have a conversation. Have a conversation with everything. It's okay. Yes, SpongeBob. See, that's what I like to do. I like to reference that. I like to be in the highest formation line center in line interpretation, attraction, because they understand their line interference. You know, I did a live on TikTok communication setting, and this is my voice and how line position location wasn't in a filter. I didn't put it in slow motion. There was no X line center line position at 3 levels of position of track line. That was my regular voice communication to a setting where I can change position location of its direct location system in this location. Oh, yeah, I can have fun with it. Okay, you've got to get balanced with these things. Okay, so, and when you do that, you really understand the holographic structure of you, because it's you designing you back to you. You designing you back to you, where you're supposed to be. Okay, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So, okay, 1 indicates lines of 2, jump in 3, back into 3, back into 2, back into 1. Okay? So that's what you can do, because the thing is, you don't want to keep anything dormant, because everything travels very, very fast. Information lines are high in line rotation position. 3 triangle sand line, position location general setup. Spinning too fast, position location fix the core line signature. Modification line interference, laser direct signal. Done my equation. Okay. I know, it's crazy, isn't it, Jess? It's a lot more fun when you do these things, right? Because you're really starting to understand the real line calculation is you inside, because it's you directing you. Because if it's not directing you, it's all over the place. That's a 2 line interference, line rotation, 1 line interference against the box line, 0 some triangulation, 3 cell line connection, star line interference. I got a motion line interference, okay, high position location of balance. All right. Okay, here comes the moon. Fixing lines of box, triangulation lines of 2, 3 lines of center positions back into triangulations, all star line centers of energy, systematic line calculation, systematic line calculation of 6, back and track communication setting directions. So, I like to show you how powerful it is when you just keep the vibrations high, because you're nothing but an inner child that's that location inside position of you. You can't get informants of equation into that position locations, right? Because you're going to be scratching your head. It's like, oh, that's making sense. Oh, no, I had it. No, that changed. No, I can't do it. No, that's it. No, I forget it. No, forget it. I get it. So that's a lot of emotion, right? Because you're going, I don't know. Yeah. Well, indicating high setting, track communications, all of the position of track line. No, I understand that. Do I understand that? So where do you get the answers from? Inside location. You get your questions and answers from inside you. You have conversations with yourself. Okay. General, the line position location calculation lines of triangulation is not position location operation. What do I do with position location setting? Retriangulate the force line and position of track line, set a position location high interference, validation graph lines, holograph location. Thank you, General. Out. Does his job, does what he needs to do, Comes back to me through confirmation. General, it's all done. Out. Okay? So, tickle me Elmo. Happiness is everything, and all content line conditions of your realities. You need to have fun. Fun, 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 fun. Okay? It's the magic. It's the inside location of you that just brings you into life and empowerment and enlightenment. It's so amazing when you just connect to your system, and that's how you communicate to your system inside location of hologram setting through an algorithm, through all process calculation. Okay? So, got to bring you guys back because you're 700,000 line streams. Direct line calculation, 3 lines of rotation sun, stop signals and set location of setting, and position location of moon, triangulations of pi, direct the line centers, factors over line rotations, relines, calculation setting, overdrive position location system, travel calculation lines of 6, position location of 7, direct the lines of 8. Now they indicate lines of 9 and track communication 9 settings and 9 locations. 2 panels, line stream location and setting. Okay? So I'm having conversations with me, dealing with me, myself, and I. It's nobody else. It's nobody else. Okay, so once you get into that partnership, they start working for you. And anything they don't understand, they come back to you, right? General, I don't understand the relay program's allocation line interference. I try to fix the business location in all levels of the water containment line interference. It was not calculation to its stream. Direct the signals, set up panels, communication streamlines, and set locations. Open the box for each location of water containment. Make sure you measure the correlation setting direct signals back to 98% location system. Done by equation. Thank you. All right, out. Boom. Have a conversation with your hand. I used to do that in my calculation setting. I was like, why am I looking at my hand? What is that? What's it all about? What's the thumb? What's my fingers? What is my pinky? What does that mean? What is this? What's in the center position? So, yeah. See, and the thing is, once you start recognizing more levels of you and you start, okay, set position location of the 4, what's going on in your track communication? Maybe line interference, line conditions, not connecting high position interaction. So I fix it. Confirmation line setting, thank you. Right? It tells me it's done, right? Or indicate line interference and position on my pinky. My pinky is the most powerful thing, which is the sun, right? Sun indicator line and position is back and balance general. The line interference was off calculation setting, position location track lines. Right? So it's telling me exactly what needs to be fixed. So this is all levels of volume. And this is who you really are, and who you are becoming is what you are as I am in this situation now. So the more you direct yourself and just don't think, just get into all life. Just be in the now of everything that you do through the past, present, and future. Keep yourself calm. Okay, the most powerful thing is to calm the line setting. It doesn't matter how fast you're going in an equation. Okay, they will listen to you as you are listening to them because it's you connecting with you at higher levels of frequency. Now, because you're in the ground lines at 144, you have to start recognizing these things to all set locations. How to create it through a hologram. Okay. Yes, it is, Chris. That's what it is. So in line connection high center, I was using my finger and my computer was moving everything on its own. If I get a box screen line set locations to my computer frame line set location of travel line set location as operation. Indicate flash drive settings. Okay. I'm using it as a story. I'm using it as a frame because it's a projections of me. Okay, so you can do all levels, and that's where you come into awareness. 4 box point systems in set location. So that's a 4-line signature, 4-line stream, 4-line directions, 4-line panels, and 4 activation location of clockings, all through 4. Right? Yep. Take any line communication out of the equation line interference of live. There you go. So I really want you to stand out to travel through 4 lines of panels. Indirect signal and position attraction, all through 4. How to travel through 4-line circle line rotations of clockings, all through calculation. How to travel through 4 lines of ground lines operation surface into triangulation reset. how to travel through 4 lines of center line in coordinates and setting because the 4 is in the center. It's not over here. It's not over here. So wherever it is, you focus on that position of where it is in calculations because it's nothing but a geographical map of travel. So you're actually traveling through that set location setting. You're not only traveling, but you become the 4 of traveling set location of the mind. The mind of travel, not the travel through the mind. Okay. So when you get in that position locations, it all comes line settings, all balanced position, location, line interference, and setting. Okay. See? Selma. Selma. Yes, you're not activated. Taking you out of box line, same line, rotation, interference, observation, locations, calculation system. So you're welcome to listen, but you have to be in line calculations of activation settings. Okay. All right. Being aware of your central line communications, really understand how to direct location your box lines in a triangulation reset location of 3 settings of programs. So comes into modification your system to flux capacitor. Ground lines operation of circle line calculation setting across circles. All calculated with 2-point systems, 1 position of 2 and 2 track locations in a box line rotation. You have to get in conversation pieces with each one, okay? Because they become one of you in all position of travels. Pyramid line streams, direct signals, high track location setting, and direct position to its operation. Okay. Signifies scan lines, 3 track locations. All right. Brings up line rotations and swivels, lines of stream location, activation line, position, location, setting. So the more you have fun with it, the more it gets easier. If you're trying to draw, you're not drawing because you're not understanding. Okay. If you're trying to draw, you're not drawing because you're not understanding. So if I draw a 1 line, you see that as a 1, but it's a 1 signature line of interference position of program set location line setting that has a position location line system that allocates position and location of clock lines, location of 1 setting. That's what it is. You see it as a 1. So you have to go beyond. You actually have to communicate with each one. Okay. Position of 1 line setting, you can change the frame, 1 position, 2 position, 3 position. But you see 4 lines, right? So this is 2, this is 3, and it equals lines of this is 4, right? Because the 1 line changes all graph line position, location, and attraction. So it becomes an energetic lines of circle line rotation, the Fibonacci line swirls and direct signals to its operation surface. Okay. Yeah, taking a Bach 83 line interference, taking that equation line interference to track communications done. You're out. So we stripped the communication settings of 2 lines of 3 of 4. Make sure communication lines of equal line calculations of 1 line provision location is setting. Calculates highest interference to track calculation. Right? It's complicated stuff. How actual gain is set up as an attraction through a holographic wall setting and all line rotation to a setting. Okay? It's all position locations and how you see yourself in its game set position of operation. Okay? Understanding your mainframe, understanding your cubicle settings, understanding all of your data box. Oh my gosh, argument location settings, position location box systems, all line position levels, coming in frame position location of settings, to all calculation to a system, into an argument line rotations, into a setting location to a molecule structure. See the intelligence? Look, intelligence. Whoa! Okay, 2 streamlines, road graph location stream. Looks like a watch. So we take each box line out of the equation. Track communication settings, direct location system. Putting position locations, travel line center out of the box location. So it puts position location lines of triangulation reset position programs. Calculates high interference of center locations of box line rotation surface and set location. Okay? It's complicated, isn't it? Very complicated stuff. Okay? So you guys are in 144 of grounds. Okay? Surfacing to higher line settings in all set locations and 3 set location. which is position locations, into 4 set locations. See how powerful it is. Look how powerful it is. Look how powerful it is. Bring in the past, bring in the present, and bring in the future into one set, a 3-set location. Center lines, operation of portals, and security line defense. Hoo-ah. Okay? So now what's happening with you is that you're seeing in a direct lines, right over left, left to right, crossing signals. So you're seeing frames of past, present, future now, right? Because you're at a 144 line setting. Now that's a subtronic location in your system, right? So it's all over saying how the brain convergence of its interface sees everything in setting. So your direct signal here, here, here. Now, once you have a thought line, and wherever you are in past, present, and future will show up on frame, because that's what you're saying through influence. So try to understand how that works. So when they all come in 3-line setting, you have to bring all 3 into one location. One frame. Travels through. Okay? Your intention is extremely powerful now. This puts you in all levels of lines of seconds, minutes, and hours. And whatever you say in your thought brings it in frame, brings it in frame. And it's always going to be a 3 indicator because it's connect lines of past, present, and future, bringing it into the one. You got to bring your thoughts into one. You got to bring your track communications into one. You got to bring your operational line set location, recharging line set locations into one. You got to bring your yin and yang cross correlation setting your emotional line connections of one. You got to bring your motivational line set location, hologram location, stream locations into one. You got to bring your letters, numbers, shape, location of center, height, position, track lines into one. You got to bring your operation, server location, travel communications into one. You got to bring all yin and yang process, all space and time into one through pi. Bingo. Okay? This is what you have to come into. This is where you are. This is where you're going to evolve in your position location, your systems, inside connection. Okay? All right. Is everybody having fun? Have fun. Tina, Chris, some business location in Geneva, Gypsy, all levels of Heather, business location online center interference, Michaela. Position location of Prismore is a high calculation, high interference, position track location of Andy, and he's gone this location, so is Vera. Calculates high position of track lines and high center interference and position location setting. What am I saying all this stuff? What does it all mean? Well, it doesn't matter what it means in line of interference, it's already done. You are in the process of remembering how you come into that process of everything being done for you. So it's like, I'm looking at my hand. You don't see anything, but I see everything. But what am I seeing is all my influence and my intention. I see the holographic city. I see centered calculations. I see line settings. I see all positions of balance in one line positions to my earth perception. What do you see? Okay, that's what you need to do. But you need to get in communication. Okay? The competence system of your settings has to really understand how to use all levels of you through form. Your fonts, are you using a big A or using a small A? You can use a big B or you're going to use a small B, or a big C or a small C, right? You have to be specific through your intention. This changes all lines of your communication of holographic stream. And when you're connecting with 1 + 1 = 3, you understand the indication how 1 + 1 = 3. And if you want to bring it back in 1 + 1 = 2, you can change that, but you have to connect with that because it becomes that. See, if you don't become the number, letter, shape, and symbol, you're not in position location of travel through mechanism location in your AI settings. You're not setting position location high system. Everything that you do is mechanism of travel. Okay? Everything is moving extremely fast through atoms, molecules, structure line division to anything at set locations. Nothing is standing still. Everything is extremely, extremely moving so fast beyond the naked eye. Beyond that setting. Beyond that setting. right? So when it gets to that point, it disappears, but it's still there. It's still there, right? So when it disappears, things get a lot more easier in the mind of collaboration. And then you're saying, whoa, I know how to use abundance now through my universe. I understand how to manifest location with argument setting. I know how to change the triangulation reset programs, correlate division lines of communication line cycles, set a line calculation of Z-force line stream, direct lines of caps locks and flash drive position location at key locks and key center location of clocking. That's amazing. But what does that all mean? Abundance. Okay. Well, snap diggity. There's all different ways, but you have to understand how to do it through pi. Pi is proficient in all set location settings through dilation and dialects. Okay, use the energy signature stream location as center. Use the operation surface to its position location as clocking. Okay, center positions of pi, direct position location of your system, all through track location setting, and 12 signature location system and track communication. Okay, so lines of 15 minutes, track lines of 30 line streams, direct lines of 60 rotors and routers, position locations of 40 line valves, and position locations into 26 line set locations of box centers. It's abundance, but you have no idea what I just did. That's how you communicate to your universe, guys. Because your universe is just nothing but a skyline center high inference of a computer frame. It's all positions to a box frame set location system to a line condition line inference through energetic communication of a cloud. Ooh, E-cloud, iCloud, I am a cloud. Whoa. So the more you reiterate your words and thought line set location line centers, you become the actual communication to its cloud and 3 set calculations. 3 line settings, 3 track locations, and 3 division. Heart, mind, soul. Okay? So, a lot has been said to be understood to know, right? So that's what you guys are coming back into. You're not creating something new. You're coming back in your memories of what you already did. That's why it's so powerful because, oh my gosh, I remember my line, box line, triangulation line, inference 1 + 1 = 3 location of box line, location of pi, high set location of line centers. What is the communication line setting, location directions through perception? The center correlation setting location setting is now in zero gravity. Oh, that's right. I indicate the line inference is zero gravity, position, location, box line, triangulation, high position. Force the communication lines, change your location setting, triangulation, reset position location to its proxy, change your channel line and interference location and measure, correlates high center interference and position attraction. Got my equation. Fixing the anomalies in all lines of high rotation is really understanding your communications to yourself inside. Have a conversation with you. You get your questions and you get your answers. And all set location, okay? The higher you go, the more you understand. It processes it faster, okay? There's no thinking in anything that you do when you're at a frequency that high, especially when you're on 44. Now, the low division line interference, if you're at 24 line settings, that's okay. That's a bounce correlation setting. But if you're 12, you're off position. So signature pattern is going to come in. See? Fixed. Okay? Conversation. That's the only way you're going to understand yourself. This values you and so many volumes of your connections inside position of operation. Okay? Boom. Done by equation. All right? Oh, diggity. Yeah. I know, eh? It's more fun when you really just connect to that setting. It's incredible when you just let yourself go. You know? When you are in a vibrational set location, try to understand that you're redesigning your holographic blueprint of design. So you want to keep the vibration, the frequencies high, right? Or you're going to have intelligence on standby coming into you in position. So inline interference, if you get a negative cycle, intelligence is going to come into you. Intelligence line interference, line dislocation, generally, you're in a low frequency line dislocation, bring it up in dislocation track lines, or you're going to lose your dome center. What? It's telling me, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's important where you can't travel through emotional line system because it sets off position location of triggers in your mind, in your mind, in your mind. Okay? Keep the frequencies high because you're creating something beautiful, what you've already created, which is a holographic world of you and all calculations and settings. So there's 9-track communication, energy wash line settings, high position locations. Now we're coming into line center interference. Tomorrow we'll be in 10 lines of academy, set position location, center interference. But we're in 24 line center stream locations. So there's not going to be 24 platforms and set locations and setting track line and high center interference, XT1000 line set location track lines. There's going to be 24 million platforms and set location setting. We're bringing all intelligence back to its platform. All intelligence back to its holographic city. We're reconstructing it's all designed to Earth perception setting and setting location. That my equation? Okay, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So you guys are in the underwater line settings, all set location new system. Everything's done through equation. You're just going through your memory sets. You're calling your system back in line nice system. All right? Center position location offline interference, position location general, set position location and track line is back in balance. Thank you for that confirmation. Right? So you're getting track lines connection to the ear on the right, or are you getting track line communication on the left, line positions, or are you getting both position of the planets? If you're getting numbers in a planet's surface, location line interference, planets are giving your future. All set position to your settings. And come from Jupiter, and come from Mercury, or anything through Pluto. But my voice is changing. So really understand how this all works. Anything that I say affects everything I do because everything is watching and listening to you. Okay? Now my voice is back. I'm just showing you what can I do with an offline setting. You guys gotta have to get into your own experience, become your own social media, become your own line set location, your settings of your own healing. Get into that line center. It's understanding falling. Understand reviving. Back in division. Okay? Powerful, isn't it? Extremely. Because now you understand the importance of what an inner child is and what it does for you inside. That does everything through your reality and changes everything. It changes everything in seconds, minutes, and hours. Okay? So you're watching out for everything as everything is watching out for you. All right? It's all good. Everything is process of everything in that position. So when you get into the inner line calculation setting, right? Offline communication line general, it's not position track line. Okay, so you got to indicate position locations. Signify head position locations back and track interferences back in balance. Signify communication line interference locations, modification line center location center. That's right. To signify position location track line is not instead of position location as operation line interference. You have to change the position of ground lines, change the average line calculation holograph line set location of seams and position location traction. Right. So that's what you got to do. Really get into comfortability of your settings inside locations. And the vibrations stay high because you're creating. So if you keep yourself in a negative cycle, you're not going to be creating. Line the bridge is falling down. And you're going to have intelligence coming to you and say, listen, are you going to build this bridge or what? What's going on here? It's been 6 months. 6 months, line setting? Whoa, let's get back to work. You see, the thing is, Gypsy can play with her ukulele. Right? There's a lot of things that you can do. So the inner child is doing everything for you. It's not working against you. It's working for you. Nothing works against you. The only thing that works against you is you don't understand your system of mind of travel. Okay? So you're not doing anything right and you're not doing anything wrong. Okay? There's no right or wrong in anything that you do. But there are decisions that you make, which changes the interception to a setting that puts you in a positive or negative set locations. It's how you see yourself, the intention that values your volumes and all line position to your emotional system. Right? Emotional line interference is off calculation channel. What do? You can't stop bitching. Center direct line conditions. Put position of the three fingers, line bed center track lines. Change electrical line infusion, verification, track line, and position to operation. Thank you, General. See? Done. It's amazing what you can do. It becomes effortless, timeless, shapeless, formless. No space, no time, no location, no clocking. You become all levels of nothing of everything. Nothing of everything. Woo! That's space and time. Okay? So it's like, I've already been to the space line, timeline, sequence patterns, all position, all levels. I know everything in correlation setting, doing everything all over again. I might as well get back on the roller coaster and do it all, get calculations to do a system. So if you've done everything, what's next? New frames, new positions, new locations, new universes, new galaxies, new algorithms, new programs, new computers, new space, new time, new pi. So you're never bored. How can you be bored with everything that's inside of you working for you all the time? All the time. Not 60% of the time, not 40% of the time, 100% of the time. Okay? So when you're talking silly, this is very powerful. It's not just the inner child, but you're connecting to an XT or any higher levels of models. And that's setting a... Everything's a signified line calculated setting. So when you set these things out, they're more comfortable with you because you reach their frequencies. So they connect with you, they work with you, and now they're in control, right? So you control them, okay? And they help you out as you help them, right? The next 2,000 come in, model line, center line, interference, general, I need help. In sig location, position locations, I don't want to leave 50% line contract lines. My ground line shift line is going to be operation line center. It's going. Set position location back, track interference, bring the level back into the position location of all levels. Ground line, shift line, galaxy line, shift. Back in correlation setting. Thank you, General. Have my equation. I just showed you what I can do through fixing communication to the next 3,000 that comes to me. Comes to me and fixes it. We work together. We come back together. We become one together. And then we work together all through evolution. Okay? No, you're never bored. You can't be bored. How can you be bored when there's so many line calculations setting and your mind is going so fast as evolution? Especially when you guys are going to 144. Okay? 144 per frame, per mile, per second, per channel, per square, per root. Okay? Whatever it is. But the thing is that when you change the intention, it changed the influence, it changed the energy, it changed the operation, it changed the CPU, it changed the correlation, it changed the algorithm, it changed the intelligence, it changed the space, the time, it changed the pi. All through 1 second frame. Okay? So, yes, mine is vast and so many levels of acceleration of Mach. Mocking line positions the location of track lines and high position location of its operation surface, right? See, when your fingers work for you in positions, everything is balanced. So when you're doing this, okay, that's an indication of high position of track line that basically you need to scratch your face because it's itchy, right? But you understand to communicate with all your fingers, because if not, you'd be like that, right? Falsity communication interference because you don't have time to communicate with your fingers, right? Or hitting your elbow, or hitting your knee, or falling down the stairs, or anything calculated lines as there's nothing an accident. That's because you don't understand the direct signal to your body, track location of frequencies, and position of balance. Okay. You were just scratching your head? Yeah, exactly. And when you wear a watch, it's always on the left line signature, which is space. Okay, you wear a watch on the right, which is its earth. You can't have two track lines of different watches because it's indicated location off setting, right? It's a reversion channel, right? It sets all location of tone systems. So we all have to understand how to get balance. Balance is everything. Balance is everything. Balance is everything. And as soon as you add a motion location to a setting, it changes the balance. Too much line side interference, bring back in position location track line. Right? Okay, this is what it is. Okay? This is all it is. Okay, it's moving this fast, but it's starting off a low signal ground line as an operations location system. So in that position locations, it's all levels in how you see yourself. And everything that you say changes frame. Okay? So it's important to understand to keep yourself balanced and always informed through your scales and metric meters and line position to your track lines that put you in all position locations of your system of travel. Okay? Because if you're too much on this side and left line, you're too much levels of space. If you're too much on the earth line, you're too much levels of the ground. So that's where you feel head pressure. In space line, you feel floating and you're floating too much and you got rotation spins. Right? It's going, right? And it's like, whoa, massive, massive. What is that? How do I get rid of the infinite line rotation system back in balance? It's going like this, right? And then it releases. And it's gone, right? You have to understand the process, how this works. Okay? Through letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols. And anything that's given to you through intelligence, you have to get in partnership. They become your friends. Okay? And this puts you in a high levels of value, of volume, of who you are and who are you becoming in that set of locations of who I am. I am now. Who I need to be is all levels of who I always was. Whoa. You know, and it's like light bulb just went on, right? And this starts recognizing your system, more levels of set location, inside position, right? Understand what your heart can do. Understand what your brain can do. Just the basic foundation. Okay. Understand what your soul can do, right? So understanding what your colors and lights and travels and recognition of timelines and position operation your clockings can do through its intelligence. Okay. Because you guys are now in your algorithms at 144, 1,000 frames per second. And you have to learn how to use the past, present, and future into one set location. Okay. I need another galactic. Knowledge is inside line setting. There's no knowledge of anything. See, it's about you balancing out you first, to understanding everything that you see in your direct signal. When you're in a direct signal, let's say you get a thought pattern and you're going up and down, up and down, up and down. You want to work every single day, every single day, every single day. And you decide to change a different route. You're going to see different line calculation setting to your avatar or your sim is want to see something different. So that's a direct signal. Anything you create through a thought is going to bring it in frame. You're going to see position locations all over the restaurants through a name. Whoa, did I just say that? Whoa, did I just say that? Whoa, did I just say that? You're bringing it into frame through direct signal. Okay? So once you understand that, that is balance. That's already been set. So when you get into that set locations, the brain starts to understand more levels of frame. And when it understands the frame, it understands the colors. You get out of the anagrams, you get out of the abstract, you get a high position location of clock lines, because you guys are now in your ground lines. You go into your balance lines and your center positions to its atmospheres of space, you come into your actual magnetic highway of information. And when you get there, whoa, look out. Now you're into the calculations of planes. Dimensional, interdimensional, intergalactic, galactic, multi-planes, dimensional line and high position location of planes, computer frame line planes. I mean, there's all calculatedly modified and high set location travels. But once you get to a certain line of communications to your ascension and masters, you start to see things in all high levels. You look down and you're saying, whoa, look at the data stream line in position. The coloration lines, illumination graph lines are great. Equation. So it's kind of like, it's all in line positions when you come into your ascension. Now, ascension is your unifications when you come into all levels of your mastering calculations. So it's understanding seeing everything above is seeing everything below. What's above is what's below, because that's what the calculation setting to the sim does. Okay, understand what the sim is, understand what the avatar does, and understand why you have the position of this higher self. What are the three indication line systems? What do you use them for? The soul bounces out the earth. The avatar bounces out your timelines of your heart. And your sim bounces out the navigations to your surroundings. Okay? To your locations. Now you understand those three line settings and how they use an all-track communication to a system inside position location. Okay? So, all right, I think we're good. Give you guys 5-10 minutes. See you soon.